Hi everybody, Mr. Vidic here. Welcome to our first lesson of the measurement unit. The first little bit is going to be a review, so I'm going to go through this fairly quickly here. So the first part that we're going to jump off with is rounding. And of course, to do any rounding, you should know your terminology of all your decimal places, ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, and then to the right of the decimal are tenths, hundredths, and thousandths, and so on. Okay, so let's just do a few rounding just to refresh us here. Let me go down to the questions here. So complete the following table. Again, rounding to the nearest one. Well, the one spot would be here, so that's going to be 530. And then I look at the next digit, which is a 5. So if it's 5 or more, I'm going to round up. So 539. So the nearest 10 is going to be 500 and well, I look at the tens place, which is a 3, but the digit after that is an 8. So I'm going to bump that 3 up to a 4, and I'm going to leave it like that. So the nearest 100, well, again, I look at the 5, and the next digit is a 3, so it's going just to be 500. Okay, tenth, that would be the second 5 here, so it's going to be 538.6 because of the 9 there. Hundredth would be 538.5, and now this is when it's a 9, obviously that's the most you can get, so you would flip the 9 to a 10, but really you're just making it 5.60. Okay, first decimal place is the same as the tenth, second decimal place is the same as the hundredth. Okay. This is a little interesting here. Again, your calculator can do many things, and one of them is rounding. So again, if you get your calculator on and go to mode, and if you go under float, you can see all the decimal places. So if I want to round to 3 decimal places, all my answers will be always in 3 decimal places. So if I go 5.62789 like that, and I just hit enter, it's going to round it up for me to the 3rd decimal place. Okay, moving on. Here's another rounding method which you might find useful. You can go through that. Let me just jump right to the examples with scientific notation. Okay, so scientific notation, you might have seen in your science classes, is a way of writing really large or really small numbers with a lot of zeros, with a lot of decimal places in them. So the way it works is, instead of, for example, number 1 here, instead of writing out the 75 million here, I might write 7.53, and then because I moved the decimal place is here in the original question, and I moved it over and I put it in between the 7 and the 5. It means I moved it over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spot to the left, so it's going to be 7 times 10 to the power of 7. In other words, if I can check that on my calculator. If I go 7.53 times 10 to the exponent 7, I will get the same answer as an A here. Now again, my calculator is rounding off here now, so let me just take that off. I'm just going to make it cancel the float there and hit enter again, and there's an answer right there. Okay, so it also works for really small numbers, like this 0.00003892. I'm going to find the first digit here and place my decimal right there. So it's going to be 3.892, and again, I count how much my decimal has moved over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to be times 10. This time -5 because my number is small. Okay, and again, if you punch that in your calculator, you will see 3.8892 times 10 to the exponent -5. You will see I get Actually, my calculator puts it into scientific notation on its own because there are so many decimal places there. Okay, let's just double check here. I guess I didn't read this section here. They said they want us to round it to the nearest tenth, which means that this would turn into 7.5 times 10 to the 7, and this would turn into 3.9 times 10 to the negative 5. Okay, moving on to example number 4 here. So when we're multiplying in scientific notation, just follow your exponent laws. Multiply those two numbers first, and then multiply the 10 with the powers on the 10. So we have 4. I think I started it here. 4. Let me clear that. 4.35 times 5.13. It's going to be 22.3155 times 10. And again, how do we do this? So it's 2 minus 6, so it's negative 4. And because this is, remember, you always want to have your decimal right after your first digit. So really it's going to be 2.2 times 10 to the negative 3 because I moved it 1 to the left. And because it's one decimal place, that's my first decimal place. Okay, same thing for this one. I have 8.64 divided by 5.18 equals 1.7 to one decimal place times 10, and then negative 2 minus 10 is going to be 8. All right. You can try this last one on your own. I'm going to jump right to using some substitutions here. So find the value of each. When x is 2 and y is 3, I would just go 9. Always use brackets. 2 squared minus negative 3 plus negative 3 cubed. 9 times 4. This would be a plus 3 rather. And then negative 3 cubed is negative 27, so minus 27. 9 times 4 is 36, plus 3 minus 27. I'm pretty sure we can all do that math on our own. And here's a calculator way to using the store feature in your calculator. You can go ahead through these examples, and you'll see how your calculator can help you when you do have lots of variables in your problem. All right, so let's go down to a couple more examples here. Okay, so we can do this. So if v equals 12, calculate t. So 60 equals v t, and then 60 equals 12 t equals 5, and so on. I'm pretty sure we can get all of these answers on our own. Again, you can use the store feature on the calculator to make this a little bit easier. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and jump to lesson 2. As that was a quick review, and we do have a lot of lessons in this unit, so I want to get through this as quickly as possible so we can jump on to doing some review for the whole year. Okay, so again, starting measurements here, we're talking about reference in this class, in this lesson. And before, people had measuring tapes and precise instruments. They would usually estimate things, and these were some of the common estimates that they used. These are the names for them. So a pace would be 1 step. A cubit is the length of your arm. Span is your your digits from your thumb to your small finger and your pinky finger, and so on. Okay, here's a little history. This is kind of a fun little topic. Okay, how they measure things in England. And if you watch some old or historical movies, you will see that they still use some of these terms in the films or the shows. So which reference is good for measuring a football field? Where that would be the pace, one pace, or however many paces. A length of a compact flashcard, well, that would probably be your thumb, since it's called a thumb drive as well. The height of a horse would probably be maybe in cubits, maybe in paces. I'm not really sure. Again, let's jump into some of the questions here. So obviously we have, we have two systems. One of them is the Imperial system, and the measurements in the Imperial system, well, the measurements for length are inches, feet, yards, and miles. And here's all your conversions here. In case you weren't sure, okay, so a foot-long sandwich is 12 inches of sandwich in your Subway sandwich. Okay, 3 feet make up a yard, and a mile, and 1,760 yards make up a mile. Now, the metric system, you'll notice the metric system works on the basis of 10. Everything's either a multiple of 10 or a multiple of 1 over 10, in other words, dividing by 10. So you'll see that we have measurements like centimeter and millimeter, meter, kilometer, and again, those are all measured in multiples of 10. So 10 millimeters make up a centimeter. A decimeter makes up 10 centimeters make up. Let me write that down. 10 centimeters make up decimeter. 1 decimeter, and then 10 decimeters make up a meter. This one is not as common. The ones you're used to are kilometer, meter, and centimeter. Often millimeters are used as well. For example, millimeters of rain. Okay, now let's get into some questions here. Well, before we do that, you should know some common reference for these measurements. For example, an inch is about the width of your thumb. A foot is a foot, just like it sounds, is the length of a male foot. 1 adult pace is about a yard. And the same thing for that's for Imperial. For metric, oh, by the way, the SI is French for system, international system. SI or metric, we use it. So the width of a fingernail, okay, is 1 centimeter. The width of 5 toes is about 1/10 of a meter or a decimeter. Okay, the thickness of a dime is about 1 millimeter, and you can kind of go through these and memorize these to help you have references. Okay, let me jump on here. You can do these questions on your own. I'm going to see if there are any other more difficult ones down here. Okay, I think everybody can handle these questions on their own. I'm going to jump to lesson 3. I know you're probably thinking I'm going crazy here, but I think this is some pretty basic stuff, and I'm pretty confident that everybody can handle this. Okay, so I'm going to jump to lesson 3. Okay, lesson 3. All right. Believe it or not, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and do this on your own. There's a lot of reading in lesson 3 and not a lot of math. And I'm pretty sure everybody can kind of get the gist of this on their own just by reading through this. I do want to mention there's also a couple of applets here that you might want to go to these websites and try these out for using the vernier caliper and the micrometer for measuring smaller measurements. So go ahead and read through all of this and see how these different tools can be useful for measuring. I do want to say though that there is a question on the test, on the provincial exam, that usually involves making a reading from a vernier caliper, and that knowledge can be found here, and we will practice this in class. But go ahead and read through all these steps and see if you can. This is what you would be given on the test, and you'd have to just basically make the correct reading off the vernier caliper for your answer. So go ahead and read through all this, and we're going to get a chance to practice this in class. I'm not going to read it for you, and again, like I said, there's not really a lot of math here. The math starts in lesson 4, so I'm going to go ahead and count on everybody to read this, and we will do some practice with these instruments in class. Okay, so thanks for watching, guys. That was 3 lessons in under 15 minutes. So hopefully everybody can handle that. And again, if you're confused about anything, please come and see me before the start of class. Okay, thanks for watching, and see you next time.